Welcome to Live from My Drum Room and part two of my conversation with the great Don Randi. Be sure to check out part one if you haven't seen it. The link is in the show notes and it's available on all podcast platforms. In part two, we continue our conversation about Don's work with the Beach Boys, also Sonny and Cher, Elvis Presley, Neil Diamond, the Jackson 5, Diana Ross, and much more. So come along for the ride for part two with Don Randi. Thanks for watching and listening. Be sure to visit livefrommydrumroom.com for all the latest news. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon. Well, just staying on the Beach Boys for a second, you mentioned Good Vibrations, and we have to play a little bit of that because it's such a masterpiece. I mean, I would call it, I think you would too, the crown jewel of all the Beach Boys' work, of all of Brian's work. It's just, God Only Knows is right up there, I think, but this is just incredible.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, that's for sure.
Yeah, and again, what a just to think that you were in the room, you were there when all these incredible songs were made.
Let's listen to some of it, and then I'll tell you a really funny, great story about it.
Okay, you got it. Here it comes. Good
All right.
Vibrations.
I love the colorful clothes you wear and the way the sunlight plays upon her hair. I hear the sound of a gentle word on the wind that lifts her perfume through the air. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitations. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitations. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitations.
What a great record.
Oh, man.
Close my eyes. She's somehow closer now. Softly smile.
That's on the Hammond B3.
Yeah, yep.
In her eyes, she goes with me to a blossom room. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitations. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitations. I'm picking up good vibrations. Excitations. Picking up good vibrations. I don't know where, but she sends me there. Love's sensation. One elation. Gotta keep those love good vibrations are happening with her.
And this record is not 2 minutes long. It's
No,
a
I
long
know,
record.
I know. I can't find a spot where I can stop it. It's just too great.
Well, that spot that you stopped kind of bringing it down in is where my story starts.
Yep, okay.
Okay, now Brian can't see me. He lets the rest of the bit. We had already been working for close to 9 hours. And he says to the guys, take a break. I just need Don. But I'm behind these baffles, so he cannot see me at all, playing the Hammond B. But I'm only playing one note, a low F on the foot pedal with my foot.
Mhm.
Oh, it's in there. And then he's writing on top of it all the high part. But that's all I'm doing is holding the one note over and over and over again. And I'm just sitting there. And now I'm tired. I'm nearly sleeping,
Yeah.
And he says, he lets the band go. He says, keep doing it, Don. I keep doing it. And he said, just a second. And he clicks off. You know, he's talking to me through the talkback. So he can't see me. To reiterate, there's a pillow right next to me that we used to sit on because the chairs were so hard for those Harman B3. I grab it and I put it on the foot pedal and I lay down with my head holding that same note down, the low F. Brian can't see me, so he doesn't know that. And I'm laying there. He says, all right, here we go. I'm fast asleep. I fell asleep. The minute I laid down there, I went out. And about 10 minutes or 15 minutes later, I hear, Don, thank you. That was great. Thank you. And I jump up, and Hal Blaine could see me through the window. And he said, did you have a nice nap? I said, I did. Well, Brian didn't know this at that time. 5 years ago, I'm at home. I get a call from Brian. Don, I got a question for you. I said, what is it? He says, is it true? I said, is what true? He says, did you fall asleep on Good Vibrations? I said, you're goddamn right I did. And he cracked up and I cracked up. But he had no idea about it. But it's what you call you had to be there, right?
Yeah, that's the secret sauce, Don. That's the secret to that record right there.
Let me tell you something. He was hearing vocalese right from day one. He was hearing where everything was going to go. And it was just putting it all together. And boy, did he ever. You know, during the course of that, Mike Melvoin came in, Larry Nepfield did it. I came back 3 or 4 times over that 3-month period until he finally got what he needed.
Wow. And are you playing through a Leslie cabinet on that, or is
yes,
it?
I am.
You
it
are,
is.
Yeah. I assume so. Yeah. I mean, it's such a beautiful sound.
And that engineer was so good. He worked with Chuck Britz. He would work with Brian. And you know who would help Brian every once in a while, even with some vocalese? Ray Pullman, the bass player. Ray did a lot of the Beach Boys dates, but Ray was a marvelous arranger also, and he could hear vocalese a lot of times. He and Brian would go at it. You know, really nice.
Is that Ray on bass on Good Vibrations, or is that?
You know what? I think it's either him or Carol. I don't think Carol was on that. I think it could be Ray. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm going to just play just a tiny bit more of it. There's just, this song is, there's just so much going on in it.
That sounds like Carol through there.
Wow. Just an amazing song.
It is. I think out of all the songs that I've ever played on, that one was just amazing from note one. As a matter of fact, the first time and then the end, and none of us knew where it was going to end up. The only one that knew was Brian, and you had to respect that. Even though you sometimes would wonder, does he know what the hell he's doing? He sure did. Who would ever bring a Thurman on a rock and roll date? Come on.
I know. And so when you were in the studio, and I know this is a long time ago, when you recorded the basic tracks, I'm guessing it sounded nothing like, or not. It certainly didn't sound like what we just heard. I mean,
no. You just had to go with the flow. A lot of times, guys would say, "What a bunch of crap." I never did. I just said Brian has a reason for that.
Yeah.
And for one of you have to respect the talent and the brilliance and the wherewithal of all the instruments, and stuff like that. People always ask me the difference between Phil Spector and Brian Wilson. The difference was completely, one was one person and one was another person. They operated completely different than each other. Whereas Phil worked more with the songs.
Hmm.
Brian worked more with what he could do with the songs, where he could take that song to another place. And he did it. That is so masterful, Good Vibrations. It's like listening to a symphony in three parts,
Yeah, yeah.
one part, two part, three. He takes it wherever he felt it should go, and where he felt it should go was the right path. He knew where it was going to end. Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Amazing. And as a singer too, I'm guessing Brian had maybe he focused a little bit more on the sort of vocal harmonies and things like that. That because as you said, he heard all those things just while he composed it. He knew where he was going to go with all those harmonies.
I truly believe that. I truly believe that it was an honesty that
Yeah.
he had. Now you go back to Phil. Phil's honesty was with guitars, believe it or not.
Hmm.
He could go and tell a guitar player, I want you to play it on this fret. I want you to play it on this fret. Could you put a capo on? Because I want an open sound out of your guitar. And I think the guitar players kind of respected that because he did understand the guitar. And I know Tommy Tedesco did. He always Phil loved Tommy because Tommy gave him what he wanted right away. He didn't fight it. Whereas Howard, Howard walked out on a date. He literally he says, I can't do this anymore. My hands are cramped. I can't play. Why don't you do it? And he got up and left. He left the date.
Oh man, there's a speaking of Tommy Tedesco, boy, what a legend he was. And there's a great story that you have in the book that I think I'd heard, maybe I heard it in the film. And by the way, I want to mention again to everybody watching, I think I said this ahead of time in the intro, but there's an amazing documentary called The Wrecking Crew. If you don't know about this, it's just Don is featured in it. It's produced and directed by Denny Tedesco, son of Tommy Tedesco, and it's just an amazing film. I think it's still viewable, maybe on Netflix or Amazon, possibly, or but look it up. It's called The Wrecking Crew. I think everybody watching this must be familiar with it by now. It's been
Sure.
yeah, it's a legendary documentary. But there's a great story you tell in the book about you. About I think it's Lee Ritenour and Tommy are at Valley Arts Guitar in Studio
Oh
City.
yes.
And I remember that story. That was a great place. And it's
I was. Well, you want me to tell it or?
yeah, please do. You'll tell it
Okay.
better than I will.
Well,
So
I was there. We were working on an album with Dwayne Eddy,
yeah.
and I had done a couple albums with Dwayne. And Dwayne's a marvelous guitar player, but it's a definitely styled guitar.
Hmm.
God bless him. He passed away a few years ago. But we were at Valley Arts Guitar. We're in the back of the store, and Lee Ritenour and Tommy are in the front of the store. It was a really long, I'd say about 120 feet away. And we had just gone up to, he was having something repaired. One of his, I think it was something to do with one of the guitars, and they had fixed it. So he was picking it up. And as we were getting ready to leave, I hear from the front of the store, hey, Dwayne. And he turns around and Dwayne knows who Tommy is. He says, what, Tommy? And now you could hear the store, which was really busy. Everybody goes silent. You could hear a rat running around, And he says, hey, Dwayne, does anybody ever ask you to play like me? And I lost. I was on the floor. The whole place cracked up because,
Oh my God.
they did, and that's what Tommy was capable of,
Yeah.
trying to bring back that exact sound, which was not
Yeah.
easy to do. Dwayne had it really stylized.
Yeah. I mean,
Great story, though.
great story. What a character. It's
Yep.
there's so many of those great stories.
Yep.
I can't imagine between you and Hal and Tommy in the studios. I mean, it's amazing you guys actually got work done because it was probably as much laughing as there was playing.
It was. And I think that made it easier for the producers, even though they hated it a lot of times. I think it lightened up the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Jimmy Haskell, one of the finest arrangers, had a habit of being, we call him the producer's arranger. The producer would say, thank you very much, I got it. And Jimmy would say, no, let's do one more,
Yeah.
and we're all ready to go home. on one date, we had the date had to end at 3 o'clock. I'm laughing myself because I remember exactly. And Tommy's sitting there. Dick Lasser was the producer for Warner Brothers, one of the producers. And he says, "Thank you very much, guys. That was great. That's it. You can go." And we all had another date at 3:30 anyway. So we were going to run from one date. I'd give us 20 minutes, a half hour to get to the next one. And Jimmy Haskell said, "No, let's do one more." Now, Tommy's already got his guitar going to the case. And he says, "No, no, no, that's okay, Jimmy. We have it." He says, "No, no, I heard something. Now the clock is running. So now it's 10 to 3. Now it's 5 to 3." And Jimmy says, "Come on." So Tommy says, "You want me to use a different guitar?" "No, no, no, no. What about at bar 17? Do you want me to? I was picking. Do you want me to?" So now you got 3 minutes left. And the producer says, "We don't have time. Go home." And Hal Blaine and I are biting our lips. We're crying, laughing so hard because he went to work on them. And it was pathetic, but that was Tommy. He had a way about him.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And his son Denny, God bless him. I love Denny dearly. He picked up a lot of Tommy's stuff. He won't admit it, but he did.
I love Denny too. God bless him. He's a treasure like you. And but I see that side of him on occasion, probably not as much as you do, but that little,
Yes,
playful side of him. Very,
sure.
very funny guy.
In the early days when we were doing the Wrecking Crew film, Hal and I would go out. I mean, and we would do the Q&A with Denny afterwards. And Hal and Carol Kay did not get along.
Right.
They just, unfortunately. But so when it would become time for Carol to be coming on screen, I'd be sitting with Hal, and he was great. And he would say stuff, really rude stuff, to the audience and about Carol. So we had a plan. Right when it was about getting near there, I lean over and say, "Hal, we've seen this movie 100 times. I'm starving. Let's go get something to eat." And I'd grab him by the hand, and I'd schlep him out the door so that he wouldn't be there when Carol came on screen, so that it went peacefully. Otherwise, he would attack her. And I said, "Oh my God." So we did that 3 or 4 times during the course of it. Hal never knew. But
very strategic. I remember there was a screening at the NAMM show. We were talking about this yesterday, Dave Maddox and I, and my friend Paul Francis and Coley Rubicki, who we were having lunch, and we remembered that particular one. We all had dinner afterward, but when Hal did have some things to say, and Denny was doing his best to pull the mic away from him, and it was during the Q&A, and it always, the politician, he's trying to go, "All right, Hal, that's enough, and
sure,
but
it's so sad,
Yeah.
Had they not done that, I mean, it would have financially, we could have all made a lot more money off that, because we got offered tours. We'd get people to agree to it, and then they couldn't get along. They just never got along. Towards the very end, it was ridiculous.
That's, I'll just say this, Don. I remember Hal introducing me to Carol probably in the early 90s when they were still speaking. He brought her to the Zildjian booth at the NAMM show, and they were, I think at that time they were neighbors, or she had just moved
to Canyon Country. Yeah,
Canyon
exactly.
Country. And then I think it was sometime after that there was a falling out, unfortunately, but like you say, it's too bad, but
it is too bad, but life goes on.
That's right. Well, and speaking of Hal and speaking of you, I mentioned this off the air, but I want to tell this quick story. This would have been maybe in the late 90s, early 2000s. We were doing something, Zildjian was doing something at Center Staging in Burbank, and Hal came to the event and happened to mention that Nancy Sinatra was working in one of the rehearsal spaces with you. And I'd met you some years before that through Hal, and we'd become friends. And I remember Hal, went away, went to the rehearsal room, and came back a little while later with you and Nancy Sinatra. And I got to meet the lovely, legendary, incredible Nancy Sinatra.
Oh
Um,
boy.
yeah, what a treat that was. And I know you two are very close, and
Yes.
yeah, just a lovely woman. Just
The
yeah,
number one.
yeah, yeah.
She's always had such wonderful, caring empathy for musicians, especially. And when Hal didn't want to go on the road anymore, she would take the only way I would go is if I could take my band, my guys with me, so I could keep the band together. And she always loved all the guys I had. I had some great drummers,
Hmm.
that was an important part of her, and great bass players. Those two were the keys. But
Yeah,
she would
yeah,
take my whole band and we'd go on tour with her for many, many years, for a lot of years, all over Europe, all over the United States. But it was always one of my guys,
yeah,
a guy by the name of John Sumner, who took the solo on Drummer Man, the same solo Hal played, and Hal would always get a big applause from it. But when John Sumner did it, he would get a standing house. I mean, he would take it to
yeah.
another place,
Wow.
and which was fine. And so many great drummers that she had. Chet McCracken, who ended up being with the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah, sure.
Keltner did one thing with us,
Yeah.
and certainly Jim Keltner was one of my first early drummers. Before how I lost Jim Keltner was I lost him to Leon Russell. Leon would substitute when he first came to town. He would work as a sub at my club at Sherry's. Look at what a great picture. When they took that picture, somebody called up Saturday morning and said, "I'm glad at least there's one musician."
Well, I'll tell you the story behind this is such a funny story. This was when Hal received the award from NAMM for the Keltner and Chad Smith gave him the award, but we were hanging out before the show, you, me, and Hal, and
Yeah.
we all decided to take a bathroom break before Hal had to go up and receive his award. So we go in there, and the guy standing between you and Jim is a great guitar player by the name of Andy Timmons. He's probably played at the club a bunch of times,
Yes,
I'll bet.
yes,
Yeah, you know Andy. So Andy
yes.
sees us in there, and he's excited to meet Hal and Jim Keltner. And I knew him from playing with Simon Phillips, and he knew you. So we all washed our hands and then shook hands. And then when we went outside, Andy said, "Hey, can I get a picture with all you guys?" So we had somebody snap a picture. But the funniest thing is we're standing, and Hal I think, is saying, "We're all standing in front of the men's room." It was a classic moment.
Yeah, of
You know,
course.
yeah. You could
He
see
was,
Hal's, yeah.
he had that old Rolls Royce that he had restored, the yellow Rolls Royce. It was I think, Warner Brothers lot, and it was rusting out and doing. So he made them an offer, and he got it, and he had it restored. And it was so when my kids were all little and his kids were little, it looked like the Beverly Hillbillies because I had a rumple seat in the back, and the kids would pile in the back, and we go around the Hollywood Hills in this yellow Rolls Royce, and Hal drove very fast.
Oh,
Everything, I mean, and I used to say, "There's kids in the car, for God's sake!" So it was
oh,
fun. It was a lot of fun.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, we were talking about Nancy, and I didn't want to veer off the subject too far, and I thought I'd play, another just absolute classic recording that you're on, which of course These Boots Are Made for Walking. Just
Yeah,
another. I mean, all these songs are just staples, just legendary recordings.
You keep saying you got something for me, something you call love, but confess
What a groove, man.
you've been a messin' where you shouldn't have been a messin', and now someone else is getting all your best. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you. Yeah.
it's the hardest part for other bass players.
Yeah, yeah.
They never get
You
it.
keep lying when you ought to be truthin', and you keep losing when you ought to not You keep saying when you ought to be a changing. Now what's right is right, but you ain't been right yet. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Are you ready?
You keep playing where you shouldn't be playing, and you keep thinking that you'll never get burned. Ha! I just found me a brand new box of matches, yeah. And what he knows you ain't had time to learn. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you. Are you ready, Boots? Start walking.
Yeah.
And that's Billy Strange arrangements.
Yeah.
Billy
what
had a simplicity on in some of those records. As a matter of fact, he used to say, "I write dumb parts. Dumb it up, dumb it up."
Well, that song is so about feel too. It's got such a great feel, such a great groove.
It is. It is.
As you said, the bass part too.
Yeah, and she almost didn't get to do it. They had a big argument, her
Yeah.
and Lee, over this thing. And he kept saying it's a guy's song, and she, no, this is a woman's song. It's actually, when you think about it, it's the first woman's lib record, I think, out,
Yeah.
that came out in the very beginning. Thank God she won that argument. I remember doing some show that Pat Boone was the host of, with Connie Francis and a whole bunch of that were being honored by the USO because of all the work they had done for USO. And I looked at Pat. He says, "Why don't I have an iconic song like that?" He says, "Everybody should have one song like that."
Yeah.
It's true.
It really is. And, I can't imagine it any other way, I read that in the book where you mentioned that, and I can't imagine ever hearing it not being from a woman's perspective.
Sure.
Yeah. And she sings it with such, like, she owns it
yeah.
so well. Yeah. It's great. And there's a great story in the book where you talk about, you're out on the road and one of the opening acts for Frank, and the sets are getting longer every night.
Okay.
And Frank calls you. He calls you, the band leader, in to have a talk about, hey, it's supposed to be 20 minutes and you're going 22, 24, 27.
It's true. And at that time he had a marvelous pianist and accompanist. It was the only time he ever went out, Joe Parnello. And most people forget what a wonderful pianist he was. I adored that guy. He could play anything, but he was doing that one show, and he's the one that came to me. He says, "The boss wants to talk to you." And I said, "Why?" He said, "He's waiting." I said, "Okay." And it's true. I went in there and he's yelling at me. What the hell's going on? 22 minutes is not 24 minutes. It's not 25. It's not 28. Don't you have any control over the situation? He's yelling at me.
Yeah.
And I just looked at him and said, "What's her last name?" And that was it. He says, "Get the hell out of here."
That's a great story. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It happened.
Frank wanted you to be the bad guy.
Oh yeah. And you know how kids are, and he's still one of his kids.
Yeah, and I'll bet she was going over great with the audience, and just loving it.
One night we were going down to do the show. She says, "I'm not going to do Boots tonight." And I just looked at her. I said, "Well, I'm going back to my room. I'm not going to be out there when they attack you."
I hope she came to her senses. I'm sure she ended up.
Of course she did.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
One of my favorite songs that she did was the duet with Lee called "Some Velvet Morning." It's got all these time changes in it, and it's an amazing work between her and Lee, and the arrangement on it is incredible. that Billy did. It's one of his best arrangements, and it kind of got lost in the shuffle, but it's a monster song.
Oh, I'm gonna have to give that a listen.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'll keep moving through. I have a couple more songs I just want to talk about and play. And there's so
Sure.
many songs, Don. We're just really just scratching the surface here today. But we talked about Sonny and Cher earlier, and when she first got into the business, working with Phil, and I thought we'd play an iconic Sonny and Cher song, "I Got You, Babe." Great song, and we'll give a listen to this.
Harpsichord on this.
They say we're young and we don't know.
I'm sorry, Don.
Harpsichord on this one too.
Yeah, yep,
So harpsichord
you
and keyboard and piano.
yeah.
I don't know. Well, that's true. 'Cause you got me, baby, I got you. Hey, I got you, babe. I got you, babe. They say our love won't pay the rent before it's earned. Our money's all been spent.
What a fun song.
I guess that's so we don't have a plot, but at least I'm sure of all the things we got. Babe, I got you, babe. I got you, babe. I got flowers in the spring. I got you to wear my ring. And when I'm sad, you're a clown. And if I get scared, you're always around. So let them say your hair's too long, 'cause I don't care. With you I can't go wrong. Then put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb.
Glenn Campbell used to say, "Hi, I'm Sonny. Hello, I'm Cher." It was true.
Oh, that's
You know that oboe is played by a great jazz saxon, anything, Ray Peasy,
mm,
and he became famous with those two notes. Da, 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 da. That was it. He got a lot of
yeah.
calls after that.
Well, I would imagine so. I mean,
Yeah.
God, and that's Buddy Salzman on drums on that one, or is it Frankie Cap?
It could have been Frankie Cap. I don't think it
Frankie
was
Cap.
Buddy Sullivan. Yeah.
Yeah. I for years I thought it was Hal, but I think I saw somewhere later that it wasn't
Yes.
Hal. It was
No, it wasn't.
yeah.
I can't remember who it was actually. I think it must have been.
I,
Well,
I
I know it wasn't Johnny Guerin, so
yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Okay. Ingrid is saying it's Frank Cap on drums. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Um,
Frank Cap was he had a great big band later on, the Cap Pierce Juggernaut band. Great sound. Great
I
sound.
re- I remember him. Yeah, being a very acclaimed big band drummer. Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
And you can hear it in that song too, boy. He's swinging like crazy in that song.
yep, yep.
Yeah. Some
That was
beautiful.
that was a fun day. That really was. I think Mike Rubini was also a keyboard player on that. I think there was two of us on that. It was me and him, or might have been in a couple others. I don't remember exactly.
And was that a song, Don? I know I'm jogging your memory here, but that always it sounds so spontaneous to me. I wondered if that was a song that came together pretty quick, like you were able to just
It did come together pretty quick.
yeah.
Sonny worked a little differently. He was more of he knew where he wanted to go from the beginning. He was an experimenter. He didn't have the money to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
You see, people don't realize that being an independent producer, you could take advantage, like Phil Spector, like Brian Wilson did. They could do as long or as short as they wanted.
Hmm.
Whereas the guys working for like Capitol Records or RCA Victor or Decca, whatever it was, Dot Records, all those little labels, they had a budget. They were corporate guys, we used to call them, and they had to bring in four songs in 3 hours.
Wow.
That was that was what the union limit was.
Yeah.
And usually, if you got two, you were very happy. But they had a time limit, otherwise they got fired. It was simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
got to stick to the budget. You know, and that
That'll
was the big difference that you could notice.
Yeah, that'll motivate you, and it always it has that very sort of fresh. Like I wondered if there were, cup first, second, or third take kind of thing, and you had it, you just captured it. Yeah.
So sometimes, sometimes you got it in the first take,
Hmm.
and you didn't realize it till after the 12th take, and then when you're listening back the next day, the first take was still the best one. So
Yeah.
that's how it goes. I always felt that if you had that many takes on a song, you had a problem. And the problem was that you were going to spend a lot of money in the studio the next day when you're listening back, going through everything when you already had it, But
Yeah.
that's life. Sometimes you think you don't have it because of the insecurity of the job. The
Hmm.
producers had a tough way to go, a tough way to go.
Yeah.
And good
Absolutely.
producers did it over and over again. I
And
remember doing a date in that same studio that we did all the Beach Boys stuff with Richard Perry, and it was Love and Spoonful.
mm,
And they had come out from New York, and it was so much fun. And then 3 days later, Richard Perry produced a lady called Mrs. Miller. Do you remember Mrs. Miller?
I don't remember.
The worst voice of all time. And Johnny Carson adored her, so we'd have her on the show, and she'd sing sharp, she'd sing flat, but with an orchestra.
Oh boy.
And that's what we did. And I kept thinking, how can you be a producer and produce this thing, and now you have to produce this thing? But you were working for a record label. That
Yeah.
was your job, and that's what you had to do. And she sold a lot of records. People bought her records like crazy.
No kidding.
Me, but somebody else.
I'll have to look her up too. Wow.
Oh, it's pretty funny actually.
Oh, that's too much. Well, we're going to play a couple more songs, and you mentioned this earlier on, and this is another gem. A little less conversation.
Oh yeah.
Elvis Presley, and this is just such a great tune. And you work quite a bit with Elvis, right? I know you did the comeback special. Or
Yes,
part
yeah.
of the
That was
yeah
my favorite, the comeback special.
yeah boy
68.
68. Man, oh man. Well, let's give a little listen to this with Hal on drums, and here we go.
A little less conversation, a little more action. All this aggravation ain't satisfaction in me.
It's fast.
A
I
little
didn't
more
realize
find,
it
a
was
little less
making
spark.
that
A
fast.
little less find, a little more spark.
Yeah,
Open
I
your
play it
mind,
all the
open up
time.
your heart and maybe satisfy me. Satisfy me, baby. Baby, close your eyes and listen to the music. Dig to the summer breeze. It's a groovy night and I can show you how to use it. To come along with me and put your mind at ease. Hey, a little less conversation, a little more action. All this aggravation ain't satisfaction in me. A little more bite, a little less bark. A little less fight, a little more spark. Shut your mouth and open up your heart and baby, satisfy me. Satisfy me, baby. Come on, baby, I'm tired of talking. Grab your coat and let's start walking. Come on, come on. Come on, come on. Come on, come on. Don't procrastinate, don't articulate, girl, it's getting late. You just sit and wait around. A little less conversation, a little more action. All this aggravation.
That sounds almost live to me, Don.
Doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, it really it has such a great again, like a real live, spontaneous feel to it.
But there's only one drummer. You know that's Hal Blaine.
Yeah, yeah.
That snare hit, that signature thing, and there was no song. When we started that, they kept taking breaks, and Hal Blaine finally said, "Look, why don't I do this?" And I remember there was a major chord, minor chord. I said, "Billy, leave that major and make it minor to the next one." and we changed it on the bandstand. They
Wow.
kept taking breaks. That was called. The producer says, "Oh, we need one more song." That was it. In those films, some of those songs were god awful, but every once in a while, and that one didn't get much notice till I think there was a group in England that did a disco version. They used our track and then went over the top, and then after that, it just took off. It just
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say it really kind of had a life of its own at a point where it really became a big, big hit. And yeah,
and it did. Not, I think 3 or 4 years later, it became a hit. It
yeah.
was pretty well, pretty well. And that's another one of those mailbox. They've used that so many times in different movies, different commercials, whatever. So the initial amount we got paid was about $160, but over the years, it's been used that many times. I remember Hal Blaine and I were talking. This is before he passed away, and we had already made close to $8,000 on that one song by reuse, and now it's gone on even further than that.
Wow.
Pretty well.
That's great. Thanks to the
Commercials
union.
and TV and whatever it ends up on, you get paid again. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Well,
Thank you, Elvis.
yeah. Thank you, Elvis. Thank you. Well, you'd mentioned earlier on, arranging and songs that you'd arranged. And this next song I'm going to play, from what I understand, was the first song that you arranged that went to #1. And I think you know the song I'm talking about, Cracklin' Rose, Cracklin' Rosie, Neil Diamond. Again, another, I sound like a broken record, I know, but again, another childhood favorite. Love this song. And maybe you could just tell the story. There's a great story about how you went to Don's house.
Yeah, I went. Well, this is how it happened. Hal Blaine and I were brought back in.
Oh, sorry, Neil's house. Neil's house. Yeah.
Neil's
Sorry.
house.
Yeah.
So Hal Blaine and I were overdubbing at what was it? Armin Steiner's Sound Factory, I think it was in Hollywood. And after we finished fixing some parts that we had, I said to Hal, "Boy, I know exactly what to do with this song." And that's all I said to Hal. He went in and I think the guy's name was Tommy Catalano. That was his producer. And he said something, and the next thing I know, Neil comes out and said, "You want to come back to my house this afternoon?" I said, "Why?" He said, "I want you to do the arrangement on it." I said, "Sure." And that's how it happened. Hal just went in and said something to them. They came back out, and I spent the afternoon at Neil's, and we came up with the arrangement for Crackling Rosie, and it went to #1. And incidentally, that was Neil's first #1. All the other records were top 10.
Yeah.
They were big records, but that one went to #1. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. Congratulations, man. I mean, just wow, fantastic. Well, let's give this a little listen. And this is, I think, 1970, if I'm not mistaken. So again, just
I can't remember. I think so.
around that time, the year you opened the Baked Potato.
That's
Big
right.
year for you. Yeah. Here we
November
go.
17th.
All right.
Crackling Rosie, get on board. We gonna ride till there ain't no more to go. Taking it slow. And Lord, don't you know, I'll have me a time with a poor man's lady, hitching on a twilight train. Ain't nothing here that I care to take along. Maybe a song to sing when I want. Don't need to say please to no man for a happy tune. Oh, I love my Rosie child. You got the way to make me happy. You and me, we go in style. Crackling Rose, you're a store-bought woman, but you make me sing like a guitar humming. So hang on to me, girl, our song keeps running on. Play it now, play it now, play it now, my baby. Crackling Rose and make me smile. Girl, if it lasts for an hour, well, that's alright, 'cause we got all night to set the world right. Find us a dream that don't ask no questions, yeah. Oh, I love my rosy child. You got the way to make me happy. You and me, we go in style. Crackling rose, your store-bought woman, but you make me sing like a guitar humming. So hang on to me, girl, our song keeps running on. Play it now, play it now, play it now, my baby. Crackling rose and make me smile. Girl, if it lasts for an
What a beautiful arrangement, Don. Wow.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. It was a big opportunity that I took advantage of. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
And it started with Hal once again, saying, "Why not?" So here you go. Very interesting time too. Neil was so cool. He was very cool.
Yeah. I get that feeling that he was great to work for, great to work with, respected you guys immensely as collaborators. And yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he toured for till the last couple of years. I know all the guys and all the bands.
Yeah.
And he's so great to all the musicians that work for him too, which is very, very special. Especially
Yeah.
to the road guys, and he had some great musicians on the road with him doing all those songs.
Yeah.
A lot of hits.
a lot of hits. Again, another icon. Well, from the same year, I thought it'd be kind of a cool little bit of a contrast, as it were, to that, where you played on a big Jackson 5 song, ABC. And, again, just to show your incredible versatility, this is, I mean, it's similar but different kind of situation where you're playing, on a straight up kind of pop tune. But this is again another classic song. So let's play a little bit of this. Boy, what a bass line, too.
Oh, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, beautiful. Again, just people watching at home and listening, the soundtrack of our lives. I mean, all these incredible songs that were made during that period. And, just what a legacy.
I think Michael was 8 or 9 years old. I remember him coming and sitting down at the piano with me. Mr. Randy, could you show me? And then he played it. What can I tell you?
Wow.
He was so cool. Such a young man at that point.
Yeah.
But there it goes once again. You get a call, you take the call. You're a musician,
Yep.
and it turns out to be one of the biggest records of all time.
Absolutely, yeah. And do you remember, Don, when you went in for that? Was it I'm guessing it was a chart that was given to you, and it was the song was pretty. The form of the song was pretty much set at that point.
It was
Yeah,
set. It wasn't like it was pretty much. I followed it. I probably it was mostly chords, but
yeah,
they kind of had a. Well, you get the message real quick. You do
yeah,
through a one run through, and you know where it's going.
yep,
Because you got
yep.
to remember, we're not hearing all the vocals. We're hearing the instrumental track. But they did a bit of a scratch track. I think Jermaine might have been singing along with us at that time, so that we had some idea where it was going. And that was
Yeah.
done at Amigo Studios.
Oh, I
One
remember
that
me.
was, yeah, it was on just off Lancashire Boulevard,
Hmm.
right where all the car places are. Is a little
Yeah.
street, and it was the first time I had worked there. And then I ended up working there a lot over the years. We did Towns Van Zandt. You remember an artist by the name of Towns Van Zandt?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I do.
And
Yeah.
I did two albums that I arranged for Kevin Eggers, a New York producer for Liberty Records. And Towns, nobody knew about until he died. When he passed away, all his music started getting played and doing it all
Wow.
over again because he was kind of like a folk. I can't say rocker, folk in between that whole folk and rock and roll place. And he was very good. His songs very poignant. Unfortunately, he drank a lot,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think eventually it got to him. But
Yeah.
what a talent! What a talent! But that was
Yeah.
Amigo, little studio.
Yeah, I remember Amigo. And most of these songs, I meant to ask you this early on. I know, Hal had told me years ago that some songs were done with the click track. They had started using click tracks
Yes,
in the studio, but were a lot of these done without a click? You guys just all played together, had great
no
time.
no clicks. I don't remember any clicks on the rock and roll dates
Yeah.
till maybe in the '90s or late '80s. Somebody would
Mhm.
want to use a click, and that mostly would happen when the band would use their own drummer, and they
Yeah.
didn't they didn't want to bring a studio guy in. But the producer was smart enough to put a click track in because this guy couldn't keep time to save himself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yep.
they would
Yeah.
do that.
Because it's the music, from that period of time. The time is great, but it breathes. It really has that organic. I think it's a big part of the secret sauce of these songs is that, they're like living and breathing, organic pieces of music.
But the key word you just said is songs. The
Yeah,
songs were strong. They were
yeah,
they were good. They had places to go. They didn't stay in one place over and over and over again because they weren't digitized, and
yeah,
it went
yeah,
from here and ended here. It was completely different. There was no digital control over anything, and it was a warmer sound,
yeah,
and it was pleasant. It was easy to listen to.
yeah,
I
exactly.
remember the first time I got into the whole digital. I forget what record it was, but I had made a mistake, and I wanted to correct it. This is like I'd say maybe 2010, 2010, someplace in there. And I said, could you just go back? Let me fix that. And he said, no, no, let's go on. I said, but I made a mistake there. I said, no, no, let's go on. I said, please take me a second. He said, Don, you played it right four other times. We'll cut and paste it. And I just looked at him. I said, boy, I lost that battle.
Yeah,
It was over. That's because of the technology. The whole
yeah.
thing changed. Everything changed.
Isn't that crazy that it was probably easier and less time consuming for him to fix it later than to have you redo it. You probably would have done it in one take, fixed it,
Right,
but
exactly.
yeah, but I know it's something. Well, Don, you've been so generous with your time, and I want to just play a little bit of two more songs that I think are worthy of us talking about here today. One is that you mentioned this the other day to me, an old favorite of mine, and it's you had a great story. It's the song by Spiral Staircase, More
Oh yeah.
Today Than Yesterday, and I think the story, and I'll let you tell the story, but you said, boy, what a great band. This is gonna keep us working for a while. These guys are good for at least a couple of big records, and it was a one hit wonder.
True. So true.
Yeah,
So true.
yeah,
Joe Sample and I were the two keyboard players on this. And we thought, I mean, we heard the song back, and they were doing some vocal scratch tracks. They hadn't done it completed, but we both went, "Oh my goodness, how great this is!" You know?
Yeah.
And you figure, okay, this is the first album, and now we're going to do 2 or 3 more albums with this band. They're that good.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
didn't work out that way.
Isn't that something, it says something about the business that you just never know. And do you remember, I didn't look up who the drummer was. Was it the drummer in the band, or was it one of the session guys? One of the,
I think it was just one of the session guys.
yeah.
On
Okay.
Al Capps, I think, was the arranger on it, who was a great vocalese guy. He was one of the top singers
Yeah.
that would do all the commercials and do stuff like that. And it was just a wonderful the horn, little horn riffs that he wrote for it. It just makes the record just pop.
It
It
really
just
does.
happens. It does.
Yeah. That's the perfect word. It pops. It's such a great, got great
Yep.
energy. And,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll give a little listen to this one, More Today Than Yesterday, Spiral Staircase. We've all heard this song before.
I don't remember what day it was. I didn't notice what time it was. All I know is that I fell in love with you. And if all my dreams come true, I'll be spending time with you. Every day's a new day in love with you.
Hey, it
Another,
sounds like Earl Palmer to me.
Comes a new
yeah,
I'm not even
yeah.
here.
of loving
Yep.
you.
Another great bass line too, boy.
Kiss
Yeah.
your lips, my mind starts to wander. If all my dreams come true, I'll be spending time with you. Oh, I love you more today than yesterday. But not as much as tomorrow. I love you more today than yesterday.
Yeah, boy. These songs really bring me back. I mean, they're just
Oh, such
classics.
a great record. My
Yeah,
goodness.
man.
What a whole, it was like you could see the progression of the first record you played to that record, completely different style of recording, completely different attitude, and different kind of band. But it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
still a great song. You still had the good music that you could
Abs-
play to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great vocal, great music, just a great melody, just a really well thought out
Sure.
melody. Yeah. Well, I want to play this last song because, and you made a great point just now because we've sort of progressed to a point where this was I think this was the early 70s. It's Diana Ross, Touch Me in the Morning. And
Uh,
my God, what a beautiful song, a beautiful composition. Your playing is absolutely just incredible. And I'd say, I'd venture to say that the production is even a little more, advanced from obviously from some of the older stuff we were listening to, and just the sound sonically. And
the arrangement is incredible. I
yeah,
try to remember his name now. Oh my goodness, it was just wonderful, wonderful. The whole thing, the whole session was great.
yeah, boy. Again, just a incredible thing to be part of. And we'll play a little bit of this. This is Touch Me in the Morning, Diana Ross.
Okay.
Yeah.
Touch me in the morning, then just walk away. We don't have tomorrow, but we had yesterday. Wasn't it me who said that nothing good's gonna last forever?
the dawn. Leave me as you found me, empty like before. Hey, wasn't it yesterday we used to laugh at the wind behind us? Didn't we run away and hope the time wouldn't try to find us? Didn't we take each other to a place where no one's ever been? Yeah, I really need you near me tonight, 'cause you'll never take me there again. Let me watch you go with the sun in my eyes. We've seen her look and grow, now we'll see how it dies. If I've got to be strong, don't you know I need to have tonight? When you're gone, till you go, I need to hold you until the time your hands reach out and touch me. Mornings were blue and gold, and we could feel one another living. Just walk away,
Wow.
the dream to hold, and we could
That arranger was Gene Page.
Okay.
Arranged that, and he was a marvel. I think he might have even done the arrangement on Love and Feeling, for what I'm recalling. I remember Jack Nitzsche couldn't do it. I think Gene Page did that one. But
Okay.
Gene was a marvelous arranger. he was a great character in the studio too. He was terrific, great. I think he did some of the Lou Rawls stuff, or no, that was H.B. Barnum. H.B. did Lou Rawls. Pretty
That's
well.
as you said, a beautiful arrangement. And one of the listeners, one of the watchers, said that it was John Guerin on More Today Than Yesterday.
Yes, yeah, that could very well be.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Johnny Guerin, great drummer, great drummer.
Yep. There was a guy that did a lot of Motown stuff that I worked with. I think his name was Ed Green.
Oh, of course.
Who I forget about. Man, he was a terrific drummer, and he did when they came out from Detroit originally. I don't know where he came from, but he was really easy to work with too. Very fine drummer. Great.
Yeah, yep. He's pretty prolific as well, Don. Yeah, he's worked with Steely Dan and done quite a few sessions, as you say. Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, sir, it's been, thank you first of all for being here and spending so much time today. It's been such a pleasure, such an honor. I miss seeing you in person, but this is the next best thing. And thank you.
Thank you for the memories too. My goodness, you made my brain have to work a little bit for a change.
Well, it's been my pleasure. And I don't know if I showed this picture, but this was one of my absolute favorites of you and Hal and me from about 10 or so years ago at the NAMM show.
That's pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah.
That there's a picture of you, I, and John Stamos that I would love to have. They took it at the NAMM show.
Yep.
He would come in the club all the time, but then of course he goes out with the Beach Boys.
I'm going to see if I can I don't know if I ever got a copy of it. I'm going to look and see, or see if I can find somebody who has that photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just fun, and I've known John for a long time now.
I'll bet you have.
Neat.
Yeah.
And you've known him a long time also, I know.
Yeah.
He's such a good guy.
He's a great guy, and he's a really good drummer. And yeah, his talent as an actor and his good looks kind of overshadow his great drumming sometimes. I used to tell him that.
I have to say at Hal's last birthday party, all those drummers that showed up, including Keltner and
Charlie
Sir
Watts,
yeah, and Danny Carey from Tool showing up, and these guys out of respect and everything, but they also are all great drummers.
Yeah.
To give Hal that respect was pretty kind of really neat. I remember in the early days, Hal was so giving to all of those guys, letting them come in and sit, hang out, talk to them. It was a good time. especially the early days.
You know, my first time meeting him, Don, I remember it was right when he had the book come out. It was 1990, and I was so excited to meet him, and I wasn't sure, you know, not that I doubted he was going to be open or receptive, but you know, I feel like the minute within 5 minutes we bonded like, you know, like
Yeah,
for like brothers right up until he left us. You know, the last time I saw him at the party, and he was just that kind of guy, like you,
oh
just
yeah,
a loyal friend. You know, right to the end.
oh
Just
yeah. He was he had his good days and his bad days. I mean, he we say things sometimes. I say, why are you saying that? Please
yeah.
give us a break, you know, and just open up a can of worms sometimes. And you know, it's unfortunate, but that's life. You know, you go on, and he was always great with me. Really,
Yeah.
we were very very close. I probably know more stuff about him than most people do,
Mm.
and or need to know, so to speak.
Probably, yeah. Probably it's a good idea that we don't all know some of those things, but
But it was what
yeah.
a great time. I appreciate you caring about the music the way you do, John. You
Oh,
know, it means that it was there's a reason for something. Somebody said, "What would be nice for you? What would be the best thing?" I said, "I would love another piano player to come over to me and say, I just did a session and they asked me to play like you because they've asked me to play like everybody my
I'll
whole life."
I'll bet you there's been somewhere, someplace where someone has been asked to play like Don Randy. They had
Oh,
to have.
gee.
Yeah. You're a legend, Don. You're a legend. You're a treasure. And
Well, thank you.
I love you so much. And I want to tell everybody once again about this great book. You've heard These Hands. I'll put the links where you can buy it in the show notes. And it's a great read. And
Thank you.
yeah.
And we're always at the baked potato, and you know that.
Yeah,
We're
I
there at
do.
least once or twice a month.
Next time I'm in LA, you can be sure I'll be there.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. I love you, John. Take
I love you
care.
too,
Stay
Don.
healthy.
You too. Happy New Year. Happy Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Hang with me one second. We'll end the live stream and we'll say goodbye
Okay.
in the room. All right. Big hand for Don Randy, everybody. God bless you, Don.
Thank you. God bless you.